been our next episode, man?
Destiny 2, man.
Oh yeah.
Destiny
Oh yeah.
2. That's what it's
It's a
this
game we both love
one.
and hate, man. It's
Oh
we
yeah, well,
love to hate
if
it
you
and we hate to love it.
do you really are you really a Destiny player if you don't both simultaneously love and hate the game and want to see the studio on fire? I don't know. Are you really did you even really play the game? Did you play any of the games?
That's
Well, I guess
right.
there's three now, I guess. It's just Destiny 1 and 2. Oh, there's Destiny Rising as well. That's right. Oh, that
Well,
little
let me
guy.
let me jump in. Let me jump in there and tell you what our credentials are, because you gotta give your resume
That's right. Otherwise,
before you
people are gonna go,
qualify.
"Oh, you barely played, bro.
That's
You don't
right.
have like the raid emblems. You don't have the banners. Only the top 1% has this raid. This what do they call the emblems? People anyway. People sell that
Yeah.
shit anyway.
No, I mean, yeah, pretentious. We're the most pretentious group. You can't run a raid if you don't have certain amount of raid clears. You can't join PvP if you don't have a certain amount of KD. What?
That's
How many?
right.
How many hours do you think you put into?
Oh, dude, I want to say it's a couple thousand and two at least. There's a website. It's
Okay.
like time wasted on Destiny. Have you ever checked it out? Right? Because they
Yep.
even shows you your characters that you made and deleted, where you have like 50 hours here, delete the character, 100 hours here, delete the character. I want to say it's like Destiny 1 was definitely 1,000 or so, and Destiny 2 was a couple thousand
Okay.
when it's all said and
So
done.
Destiny 1 was only 400 hours. I say only 400
Mhm.
hours for me. Destiny 2 was, I believe, 3,800 hours for me.
Ooh, okay, so you
Yeah.
way fucking passed me
Oh
on
yeah.
Destiny 2. Holy
Oh
Lord.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. 10 years. We're talking about the game came out in 2016, Destiny 2. And
It's
it's
crazy if you
still
think about it,
going.
right?
It's still
Yep.
going. It's not going strong, but it's still going. So the first thing I think I wanted to talk about was just relive the moment when Bungie announced they were bringing out Destiny. Not the day it came out, but when they announced it. We already knew this was the studio from Halo, so we knew to expect big things. That Halo will go down in history as one of the greatest first person shooters. And they said, we want to make a game. I remember listening to their pitch. We want to make a game that lasts 10 years, that has 10 years worth of content. And they had me sold right there. They said,
Oh,
we
there
want to
was,
take you
yeah,
to the
I mean, they
stars.
had so much credentials. They had the credentials then. They're like, oh, these guys made Halo. I mean, even their spin-offs, right? ODST as a spin-off. Remember,
Oh,
they reused assets to make ODST, right? And that game
legendary
was
love.
still fantastic. It's still legendary. You got the smooth jazz going on in the middle of the night, the rainfall, right? It's iconic in its own way. And they literally made this just to get out of a contract with Microsoft.
That's
You know?
right. That's right. Halo Reach, amazing,
Yep.
right? Sent from the same
Great,
team.
great. Different from the
Great
book.
game.
I think the book's better, but yes, it was still a great game.
Often
The book
is.
is totally different, dude.
Often is. And then the day Destiny came out, somebody told me, they said, you should work for the PR team for how much I sold that game to people before it came out. I remember
Oh
I was
yeah,
on
yeah.
the USS Stockdale, and I was just going around just talking to people about how great this game was. I probably got 3 to
Brought a
400
bunch of
different
people
people
into
to
it,
buy
right?
it. Yeah, bring
Yep.
people
I
into
think I
to
was
the
in Oki.
ecosystem.
I think I was Oki when it came out, and it was the same thing.
Okinawa?
I was just playing it all the time. I was like,
Yep.
I think I talked to one of my buddies. Oh yeah, man, you got to get it. And I got him into it like 6 or 7. It took a little bit. It was like 6 months after. Oh, you got to try it out. And he's been there for like fucking 10 years. It's sucked him in, man. Sucked
Yep.
him into the expansions and everything else. So,
They're like
well,
drug dealers. We're like drug dealers.
oh yeah, it
So
was a hit. I mean, it was a hit.
well, it wasn't. See now, it wasn't a hit to
Well, no, I mean
me.
a hit isn't like a drug hit. You just
Oh
had to
yes,
keep
yes,
getting
yes.
more of it, right? Even
Yeah,
when the only
yeah.
thing you could do was farm spin metal
That's
on
it.
the on Earth, right? You're just going around grabbing spin metal for 6 hours. It's like, all right, cool, I did that. You just did it.
And
It
do you
was
know
fun to
why?
do, I guess.
Because
You
you
know?
because you loved the base game. You loved the feel of the gun. You loved the sound of the rounds leaving the chamber. That is one thing
Fancy magic,
Bungie.
nuking people, right? That was back when Nova Bomb
Yeah,
was still cool. You could split
yeah.
Nova Bombs and do all this fancy stuff.
Well, the
Ah,
supers weren't that good. I remember the Titan super was like one smash, and that was it.
yes,
You
yep. Fist of
didn't you
Havoc was a
couldn't roam.
one-off.
Yeah, you couldn't roam. Yeah, it was a one off. So, going into it, man, I remember going to the Cosmodrome, and you get that famous cutscene where your ghost
Yep.
is looking for you, right? And it's rusted out cars, and it's going through and it's scanning everything, and then it finds you. And I thought the first thing I thought, I said, man, this is such a creative way to tie in death into a game. Usually when you die, that's kind of breaking the fantasy, right? You die and then you
Yeah.
got to wait for the screen to reload and then you come back into the game. Bungie found a way to say, oh, when you die, no, that's actually a part of the story because your guardian is somebody who dies and gets brought back repeatedly by their ghost.
You die all the time, man. Don't even worry about it.
Don't
You
even
die
worry
left and
about
right.
it. Yeah, so that's part of the story. You're supposed to die, right? I thought that was very clever. And from there, they really tried to tie in the story to everything that happened in the game. They wanted to tie it into the main story of the game. Now, the game was great, right? You start off, you go through the Cosmodrome. There's little like mysterious parts where you see little things skittering on the roof. You run
Yes,
it
dude.
through a
Well, the
building, right?
mystery. Yeah, the mystery
Yes.
was so the mystery and the art style. Everything about the first game. I mean, we can get to the story. And we can get the reception of the story, but the mystery and the art style they sold it. It really they was so it was peak. That they honestly dropped a little bit of that when they went to Destiny 2. And we can get into that, but that was it was. I mean, yeah, exactly. You're going through this crumbling wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Picking up the Kostov, which is basically just an M4. It's just a Russian variant of an M4. And then you get out and you see the spider tank, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. And for some people, that's when you took the first like 120 millimeter from the spider tank, right? And you're, oh, wait a minute, I gotta watch out for that thing. You
Yeah,
know?
that's it. Yeah, yep. I remember that. You go into, and then after that, you go and you, like you said, you talked about the mystery, right? There is a certain amount of, I don't know, advantage that a new game has because, like you said, you don't know what to expect. So every
Yeah.
corner you turn, every chest you open, it's a new weapon, it's a new experience, right? And I always try to balance that because when you've played the game for 10 years, how much mystery can you start to add to the game?
Yeah.
Now, here's where I think across the board, objectively, the game kind of fell off is we all had that famous scene of the
In
what was it?
Venus. It was
The
in Venus.
deserter or the stranger? Yeah, it was the
Stranger,
stranger,
right? I don't even
right?
have time to explain what I have
I
time to
don't to
explain.
explain.
And
I
you're going,
said,
well,
"What?"
say something. Shit.
Yep, and that was the end of the story. Abruptly, that
Yep.
was it. That was all we
That
got.
was yeah. Yep. She handed off the gun. End of the game, and you're like, oh, that was cool, but
Now what?
and right,
Now
yeah, because
what?
remember even the first time you talk to the speaker, everything, right? Like it's and of course this really kind of pays homage to the idea that they sliced up the original story. I think Joe stated in the original story. They talk about it every now and then. I think people have kind of guessed that it was supposed to be like the Traveler was evil or something like that.
That's right.
The story was just so chopped up because they clearly wanted to make the game this multi-world MMO spanning, planet spanning adventure, and it just wasn't how it initially was. Yeah, first cutscene, the speaker he shows up. You're like, oh, who is this guy? And he goes, well, there's been all this stuff happening, and you're going, and
Hmm.
he's like, and I need you out there, and you're like, okay. Well, I guess we're going out there. Then
I
maybe
guess
tell
we're
me more
going out
later,
there.
man. Like, oh, I can't even buy anything from this guy. Never mind. Don't even worry about it.
Right. So you go into it and you say to yourself, all right, the game is over. What is there to do now? And you look around and you just start shooting things.
Yeah, farm spin metal, dude.
You
That's
farm
what you do.
spin metal. Right.
Did people even remember spin metal? See that dates me right there. Farm and spin metal in the
I'm about to
Cosmodrome.
say, you
I
mentioned spin
guarantee that's a
metal.
date.
You jogged
People
my
go,
memory on that.
what's spin metal, bro? What are you talking about? That's how you upgraded your guns, man. What are you talking?
Now, what about the concept art? I remember looking at the
Oh,
concept art
so
when they were
cool.
it was so cool, man. It was
So
so cool.
cool.
They had
It's
like
it's
lion
the Destiny
people,
One
right?
concept art is iconic. They had
Iconic.
the races and all these
Hmm.
ideas. They had an art style design. They talked about it. They had the for each class, which they really nailed it. And they lost us in Destiny 2. They completely they misunderstood. Destiny 1 like they were like, "Oh, you have to have this much cloth and this much armor." Like hunters, kind of like 50-50 split on how much cloth basically. Again, they wanted to have that art, that guiding art style. Titans, I don't know why in Destiny 2 they're like, "Oh, they're knights." It's like, "No, they are Spartans." They're future sci-fi with a little bit of space magic Spartans. So that was the grounding. Warlocks, the mysterious guys with the badass trench coats and hoods. That was it's 80 again, 80 cloth, 20% armor. And hunters again, right in the middle somewhere. Hunters were the scavengers, the wilders. They're wearing flight suits, not because it's cool or trendy, but because they have survival systems built into the suit. They can just be out in the wild for an extended amount of time.
Now, a lot of
Right.
that
That
stuff
was
never
that was
made
the
it in.
guiding art style. That yeah,
It,
well yeah, well
yeah,
here's they at
it
least
never
kept
made
some of
it
the
in.
art style in it. Like yeah, not
Hmm.
everything. Oh my, you remember the scene where I think it was the beta or the demo they showed off. Guy zips in on his ship and it just pops him off in live. Like your buddy joins you and it just live drops him off from the ship. And it didn't, that never made it in. That was a cool idea. It was just drop in, drop out co-op, and didn't make it in.
Now, didn't the story lead at the time also get changed? Didn't he drop out? They had an
Yeah,
original
I want
person
to say
who.
Joe Staten was the original dude doing it, right? And then
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he left, and that's probably where they because they had a bunch of cutscenes. Remember the Crow, or sorry, not the Crow, the Queen's brother, Uldren. Uldren shows up in one of the early cutscenes, and he's pointing a hand cannon at you, and you guys like, whoa, man, hey, I don't mean you any harm. He's like, dude, everything's dangerous out here. That was the one of the very first cutscenes they dropped. That did not make it the original game. Now they originally, I think they eventually kind of they come back to those story beats. Eventually, I think they actually did it in like the Taken King or something like that. But as part of the original, yeah, that got cut. Like, a bunch of stuff got cut,
So
right?
now knowing that, right? So we start at this high point. It's a new game. Everybody's loving it. We love the way the game feels. One of the best shooters out there. That's the pedigree of Bungie. You go into the game, you get to the end, the story is
Yeah, and it's
non-existent.
gone.
There's no
That's
end
right. And
game,
you say,
right?
what do you do? That's
There's no
right.
raids, right? There's no dungeons, there's nothing there. What kept you into the game to wait for the content to eventually hit?
Yeah, it was the like I said, I was farming spin metal, man. I was busy. I was mining. I was
But
paying
you
the
had to like
bills, right?
something about you had to
Yeah. Well,
you had to like
it's
something about that.
it's the yeah. It's the how they weave the combat together. Obviously, the gunplay always felt good because it was this nice little balance of like not everything is just incredibly easy to use, right? The game's it's not hard. Like the guns aren't recoiling for the most part too wildly, but they have some kind of distinct patterns. And then the flip the space magic, and I'm a warlock, right? So I'm criminally disadvantaged in the art of PvP. I
Oh,
am
stop
not
it.
as like
Here we
I'm
go.
not. Hey, look, hey, we talking critical reception. Day one, Destiny one, the hunters were running around with the little arc blade and killing 10 people every super pop in PvP. All right. And then even if I threw a Nova Bomb, it might not work. It just might not work. But
Well,
but like
as a
in
Titan, I
PvE,
agree.
right?
Yeah, as a
Yeah,
Titan,
exactly.
I
You had
also
to bait him
agree.
with a
Yeah.
fist of havoc and go,
Yep.
hey man, gotcha. But but like, yeah, because even back then, see, I'm trying to remember because the first supers, right? That's because that's what kept you, right? You're playing around with the supers. That's what I did. Like I would literally go in. You probably did the same thing, right? You unlock all the bubbles, all your little class bubbles. You're like, oh, I'm gonna try out the I'm a warlock, so I'm trying out the blink, and and killing myself half the time trying to blink to platforms and stuff like that. Um, figuring out blink, dude, and then split, and then trying all the different builds out. And well, there wasn't much in the game in the beginning, but you're going, oh, how do I like to play? And it's just cool, Again, for me, I was a warlock, so when I got to split Nova Bomb, and I figured out you could like arc your split and be fancy with it, I it was just I was hooked on stuff like that. Like it was really really cool. And even the first game, kind of like we talked about, had such an art style and it's such an aesthetic. You wanted to just poke around more. Because also remember, when you first got in it, there were areas that you tried to go to, and the enemies were just such a high level they just killed you. The
Hmm.
game didn't make any apologies. It didn't say, "Oh, you could go over here." Maybe it let like a mission let you in there, but you would just find a secret enemy, and his level was blacked out. He was just you got near him and he killed you.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I think it was a Hive Night at one point. I don't
Yeah,
know
there
if
was a
I'm
Hive
bleeding
Night. There was
into
just
one and
there
two,
was
but
some
you
random
jump off the
vandal.
map
Yep.
and you can like if you hovered correctly, you could jump back into the map. Not off the
Yeah.
map, but you jumped off the edge and you kind of went
Yep.
underground.
Came back in.
And
Yeah, it
yeah, and it
was
was
that in the
a
Cosmodrome?
that's in the
That was the guy in the
Cosmodrome. Yeah.
Cosmodrome, right? By the
Yeah.
down
And
Telos,
he
because they brought that
tore me
area
a new
back
one.
and do.
He
Yep.
tore me a new one. Scared the hell out of me when
Yeah,
that
because you
happened,
drop
right?
down there and he just goes whoop and he
Yep.
swings and you're going,
Swings
oh,
his
okay,
sword.
see
Yep. And you're
that.
like, all
Yeah.
right.
All right,
So
man. Okay.
that
Even going underground in the original Cosmodrome area where not your ship, but the ship's crashed. Remember, you go
mhm.
down there. The first time you go underground, you don't have night vision or anything, so the ghost flips the light on, and you just get rushed by Thrall,
That was a
right?
good suspense.
Yep.
Yes. And it was like
And
the
that's just
old
free roam.
subway. Yeah, it was
That's
the
right.
old
It's just
subway
free roam.
system. Yeah, that
hmm
was
And
great
they had
suspense.
high level guys down there as well, and they had a bunch of that, and that contributed to that mystery. And that's what people did. You were literally poking around. Yeah, and it's probably the same for you. You just poking around in all these random areas trying to find, oh, what can I do now over here? Oh, what's over here? Oh, wow, look at this. What does this mean? Because it was such a cool world they pitched. Even if, even if the story was cobbled together, they had such a cool world on the table, and that's always been Destiny's strength, that you were just like, oh, well, what's around the next corner? And
Yeah.
that mystery is really what sold it and what kept people, at least for me, kept me going.
I'm gonna be honest with you. To me, sometimes Destiny was like looking at a painting, a great painting. The skybox is one of Destiny's strongest features that
Oh
they
yeah.
have,
Yeah, you just look
and
out
you
amongst the
could just look out.
Cosmodrome or in
Yeah,
Venus.
Yeah.
right?
You look
Yep.
out and you just see, man, it's beautiful. And you know you can't go over there, but you still in your mind, you're like, what is over there, right?
Yeah,
What are
what
these
happened?
guys
Like,
gonna
yeah,
come
like
up?
in Venus, what
Mhm,
was the academy? The Ishtar Academy, right?
mhm.
Right? Because they dropped so many of the story beats, but you going down to the Venus, the Ishtar Academy, you're going, what happened here?
Yeah.
What we know, like what happened here? How did all this happen? They even mention it again. They actually in the few story beats that were kind of cool. They even mentioned, you go to Venus and there's just random cars, like regular cars there, and they're like, oh, they never picked this up again. But they're basically like, oh, it's kind of like the patchwork evolution that came with the Traveler, and you're like, why would there be this patchwork evolution? It contributed to the mystery. They didn't do anything with it. They let that hang, but it was really really cool in the first. In yeah, that's why you were there.
They had us. Like I said, they had us. I don't think there was anything in the before the raids came out, was there anything that was,
No, it was
you would
nothing, dude.
say were there any encounters that were more mechanic based rather than just, bullet sponge kind of? Because I don't remember if we got
I don't
our
think
first taste of
I don't think
mechanic based
so.
combat. Okay, if there wasn't,
No,
then I'll kind of leave that part off there because that was the
yeah,
hook that we
yeah.
knew
Because
something
remember
else was coming.
the raid got teased a little bit.
Mhm.
The vault of glass got teased a little bit, but you couldn't get in. Right? Nobody could get in. You went up and you played. Remember, you played with the pylons. You kind of screw with them, but you're like, all right, well, this isn't doing anything. What do I do with this? Because of course they wouldn't do anything because you're not playing the raid.
Right.